That is Landman star Tommy Norris, played by Billy Bob Thornton, and he's looking at a wolf that's just sort of circling behind the edge of his Texas property. I think it's a metaphor, but after 5 seasons of Yellowstone, it's hard to see wolves and not think of Casey Dutton, but this is Landman, not Yellowstone, and...
Sorry, pet-killing sons of bitches.
Yeah, wolves aren't nearly as sacred here. But are they just as important? The symbolism is just part of what I hope the season finale of Landman explains. It certainly got me thinking about a whole bunch of comparisons between the two shows, but you came here to talk about how this season will end, so we'll start with that. Subscribers know we always get to the point. 2 scenes lead us to believe we'll learn Monty, the oil magnate played by Jon Hamm, has died. The first is his fast rising heart rate as seen here. The second is this conversation between Tommy and Monty's wife, Cammy.
Hi, Cammy. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
She's played by Demi Moore, and if I have one criticism of the show, it's that she's really underused, but I digress. Does this mean Monty's died? I don't think so, if only because Tommy is pretty stoic about it all, and throughout episode 9, he'd been really emotional. Instead, I think he just had another heart attack, and maybe that'll be enough to push him towards family. One would have thought Jerry Jones's speech would have done that. Listen, I'm not a Cowboys fan or a Cowboys hater, but Jerry was very good during this monologue, and fans thought the same thing. Here are a few comments from people on social media. I got a chuckle out of this one from someone who clearly hates the Cowboys, but had to give credit where credit was due. It was really effective hearing him tell his story and leaving Monty with good life advice. Comment below if you agree.
When I got the Cowboys, I got it so that we could all work together. I thought I was doing it for them, but the one that got the most out of it was me.
I'm not sure what questions need to be answered by the January 12th season finale of Landman. Instead, I'm wondering what questions will be left unanswered. The plot of this show is still just developing, but still, I expect a pretty big cliffhanger that could come from any number of directions. Tommy, played by Billy Bob Thornton, the lawyer Rebecca, played by Kayla Wallace, and Nathan, MTech's legal counsel, played by Colm Fiore, they all seem on a collision course. With Tommy being promoted to VP of Operations, and Rebecca getting a job as VP of Exploration as Monty lay on his, perhaps, deathbed, I'd guess tensions will rise, but I'm not sure that's going to go anywhere next week. This is all more of a place setter for Season 2, and by the way, Season 2 isn't 100% confirmed, but the stars are all talking about it like it's a given. I also think the romance between Cooper and Ariana will formalize as he continues to work on a plan to start his own oil company.
All the gray or available leases and mineral rights, you cobble them all together, you can sell them. That's what I'm gonna do.
He talked fast, so I'm briefly going to recap. He wants to acquire a few dozen leases for small wells that require investment to pump again, and then sell them off in bulk to an oil company. From there, he's going to use that money to buy larger, more fertile properties. But it all starts with this guy, Perry Hardin, as played by actor Tim DeZarn.
I'd want 20% of the royalty.
No, sir. You want 25.
This has been the most satisfying part of Season 1 of Landman.
My body is my proof. I took one look at you, and I fell. But I have no plan. All I have is desire.
The writing and chemistry between these two actors feels real and relatable, and their arc is nuanced. You got a sense that they were kind of learning as they went, which actor Jacob Laughlin all but admitted to during a chat with Taste of Country last fall.
What's the emotional arc of going through that kind of violence, I guess, as a character?
Man, I wish I could tell you the answer, but I don't think I'm done going through it yet. I think we're still learning what the arc is going to be.
Cooper is Tommy's 22-year-old son, and he's very smart and, now that he's in love, driven. During the first 6 or 7 episodes, he got in several fights and was within an inch of his life on 2 occasions. He also watched his crew get killed when a pump jack exploded and stood up to the relentless Rebecca.
You weren't standing on that doorstep this morning at 7 a.m. because you're sitting on a strong case. Her lawyer's going to file environmental claims with the TCEQ. Seek safety and equipment reviews from OSHA and the Railroad Commission.
Every single character on this show portrays a certain sense of volatility that I believe really reflects the nature of the job in the industry. If you're uncomfortable often, they're doing it right. There's a good guys, bad guys feel to Landman, but like Yellowstone, it's pretty complicated because oil companies are just so hard to root for. The drug cartel are the clear bad guys, and it's here I think we're going to see the biggest cliffhanger of all.
No, I'll clean up the mess. But I think I'll clean you up.
After an attack that killed a member of the drug cartel to end episode 8, and surveillance footage of Ainsley at the end of episode 7, it's clear trouble is going to find her. A kidnapping? Gosh, I hope not, because that feels a little cliche, but yeah, I'll listen. Maybe they just cause her some great physical harm, or they kill Ryder, her new boyfriend that she's so fond of studying the Bible with.
Like I said, I have an army too. Call me when you come home, Tommy. Or maybe I just come find you.
I guess you could say they've been teasing retaliation since the very first scene of the very first episode. If there's one thing I'd bet on for the season finale, it's violence that Tommy can't talk his way out of. Someone is going to get shot, or killed, or stabbed, or something, and I think that someone is going to be Ainsley. At the start of this video, I mentioned Yellowstone comparisons, and that's not really fair, except it's not inaccurate either. Taylor Sheridan leads both shows, and I first started thinking about this during the wolf scene that ends episode 9, called Wolf Camp. You can make some character comparisons too. Tommy Norris is John Dutton with higher morals. Angela, played by Ali Larter, is really giving off Beth Dutton vibes. I'm the only one who sees similarities between Casey Dutton and Cooper, Tommy's youngest son, and maybe that makes Ariana the Monica Dutton of Landman. Yeah, there's no Rip, unless Tommy is Rip and Monty is John Dutton. Yeah, all sorts of possibilities. Comment or email staff@tasteofcountry.com, and like we've done before, Edison Hager, my Dutton Rules podcast co-host, is going to join me now to take fan questions and answers. I need to start this Q&A with a little bit of a correction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is something I realized as soon as we got done filming the main part of this video. There's the drug cartel who's sort of been looming over the Landman characters for the entire season. Things kind of come to a head in episodes 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. And during a phone call between the drug cartel guy and Tommy, he says, "I hear your Jefe is not going to be a Jefe much longer."
Seems your Jefe might not be a Jefe much longer.
I totally missed that. Jefe means leader or chief, and what he's referring to is Monty, the guy who owns the oil company. He had heard that he's dying. Somehow he had that information, even though it was kind of really down on the down low, and so that's why Tommy thought he was being watched. Makes me kind of think maybe the drug cartel had something to do with Monty's heart attack or his heart issues.
Oh, interesting.
I know. Jefe. I didn't know what Jefe meant. I Googled it, and I didn't realize it came up with the word heifer for a female cow, so I was thinking that was like a derogatory way of talking about his daughter. It was a whole thing.
Those Google searches will sometimes do that to you. Mm-hmm. It happens to the best of us. Alrighty, I'm gonna if you feel like you have let everything off your chest, I'm gonna dive into the Q&A now.
I'm ready for you.
Alrighty. The first one is from LGNat75, who says the actor that plays Dale must have pictures of Taylor Sheridan because he uses them in everything. He's really funny.
He's talking about James Jordan, and we've talked about this quite a bit. Mm-hmm. James Jordan plays Dale, and he's been in like 6 Taylor Sheridan productions. I don't even really need to list them all, but my favorite was probably Cookie in 1883. Yes. And he's right. Taylor Sheridan does use characters over and over again. Dawn Olivieri was in Yellowstone, and she was in 1883, and now she's in Lioness, a great actor. It's fun to kind of keep an eye on those characters. He is a funny character, and I wonder sort of where he'll pop up next, or who from the Taylor Sheridan universe might pop back into this show. I don't think he has pictures of him naked or anything, though. They're friends. In fact, Sterling
Billy,
talked to him about this.
that's not even where my brain went.
And when you have someone that poetic and so brilliant and so, he thoughtfully designs his stories so well, that's what attracts you as an actor. It's constantly challenging to play these people that he writes and bring them to life in such an interesting way. So I admire the man and look at him as a mentor and a friend, and look forward to more.
Moving on, from Cindy, who says the actress that plays his ex-wife, she is great also because years ago she played that crazy temp that was trying to steal Beyonce's husband in that movie. What?
I was lost as well. Okay, so let's break this one down from Cindy. The actress that plays his ex-wife, which would be Tommy's wife, Angela, we're referring to Ali Larter. is
Yes.
the actress's name. She played a crazy temp trying to... In 2009, Beyonce, Idris Elba, and Ali Larter all starred in a movie called Obsessed. And the plot is Ali Larter's character, who I think was named Lisa, is obsessed with Idris Elba, who is like her boss.
Okay.
Idris Elba is married to Beyonce, and it's kind of like a Fatal Attraction kind of movie. And at the end of it, there is an epic Ali Larter Beyonce fight scene that takes place in an attic. Ali's swinging a 4x4 at her. One of them goes through the ceiling and dies from I mean, it is like a 6-7 minute long fight. I'm not going to say it's a great movie or a great fight scene, but this is the thing that happened. And probably not even Ali Larter's most famous screen role. If you saw Varsity Blues, you may remember her as the woman who surprises James Van Der Beek's character Mox in a whipped cream bikini.
No.
That is Ali Larter.
Interesting. I've not seen that, but interesting. Okay. Okay.
She's actually had a lot of roles, but she's had some really, really memorable roles for comical reasons.
And then the last one that I have for us is Perfect Chaos 5721 says, my only complaint is that it doesn't show an accurate depiction of what the oil field is really like. No one does everything. You either drill, do surface, or maintenance, and of course, everything in between.
I was kind of wondering if we get this kind of feedback, people who have actually worked in the oil patch who are sort of speaking up, and a number of people who have either worked in the oil business or in the oil patch that they're actually referring to have commented either via email or in the YouTube comment section saying, hey, this is all a little bit of exaggerated, a little bit far-fetched, not realistic. I think most people understand, though, that this is a TV show. They got to kind of lean into the drama a little bit. And even this person here doesn't sound too upset about it, just pointing out that it's not quite like what you see on TV. Fair.
If it was super by the books, this would be on Discovery Channel.
Yeah, it's not a documentary. I mean,
No.
Yellowstone probably exaggerated some ranching things, and Lioness probably exaggerates some CIA things. I mean, this is just how it all works, right?
I mean, I'm not well versed in this, but yeah, that's. I would assume that's that's how they get people like me to tune into Landman.
Right, exactly. But I do look for more of those opinions, though. If you actually have something specific that you thought that Landman got wrong with regards to the oil business, let us know. staff@tasteofcountry.com. We'll check in with you next week because obviously that's a big blind spot for us. We've never worked on the patch.